We can have a lot of fun. I'm a man. Estelle and
Today's client is Ollie Ollerton, who you will recognise from the series SAS Who Dares Wins. Now, earlier this year, I was listening to a podcast with Ollie where he told this really cool story about something that happened traumatic in his childhood that he's only just got over. And as he was telling this story, I came up with this really cool idea for a tattoo. So I reached out and sent it to him, and as expected, he loved it. I went to his house and we tattooed it, and it was a great experience. Today, he's come to the studio for a little touch up and also to dive deeper into that story and tell it to you. He's just arrived outside, so let's go and say hello.
I was going down to the circus, the best day ever, the weather was amazing. I'd just seen Tarzan on TV at home, school holidays. You know what I mean? I went down to the circus and I saw a chimp and I'm like, I was so fucking elated. You know what I mean? It was like the best thing. I'd just seen that chimp on TV with Johnny Wiseman, who was back then, it was the old black and white Tarzan. I don't know if you remember Johnny Wiseman. So that was like an amazing experience for me. I was like over the moon, elated and everything else. And then, boom. That whole thing got smashed. Absolute carnage and chaos on that day. And when I look back now, that's what I recreated all the way to that point where I crashed and burned. Through my military career, through my relationships, everything. As soon as I got any kind of stability, boom, chaos. You know, and then you've got to look at the military. They teach you to be at comfort in chaos. Do you know what I mean? Especially the special forces, they teach you to accept that as normal. Chaos is normal. To be quite honest, mate, you know, when I look back at the military, I knew the military wasn't for me. You know what I mean? It's like, people are shocked when I say that. When I actually got to the special forces, I was disappointed. You know, I created that perception since I was 14 years old. And the first time, I don't know if we talked about this, but the first time I saw the SAS was the same year I got bit by the chimp.
All right.
Yeah, 10 years old, 1980. And that's exactly a bigger year for me, getting bitten by the chimp, and then seeing the Iranian embassy. You know what I mean? And Maggie Thatcher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Maggie Thatcher. Usually you cover that building up, but she wanted the world to see our SAS, and that was when the seed was sown for me in the subconscious. You know, I saw that and I just went, "Fucking, that's amazing." Yeah. I can always remember going to the careers office, right, and the woman. She said, what trade do you want to learn when you get in the Royal Marines? What do you want to do in the Royal Marines? And I opened the page and it was a SBS combat frogman with a mini sub. And I went, I want to do that. And she looked at me and she just laughed. She went, everyone wants to do that. And that was another seed, you know what I mean? And that would be the last thing I did before I left the Special Forces. But really, you know, at the end of the day, I got there and I was just so disillusioned with it all. And then even when I got through Special Forces selection, 2 selections, and finally got there, it was like, this is not what I expected. And a lot of it was as well, which goes back to the chimp, and that's why the chimp has been such a massive part of my life, is the fact I was looking for war. I was searching everywhere for war. And it wasn't till I got to that space, thinking about, you know, when I finally went to war with the chimp, that I realised that the war wasn't out there. What I was searching for was inside, and there was a massive war in here that I need to deal with. And you know, as we know, Danny, it's like you can't change your external world unless you change who you are as a person. You know what I mean? And people go off, they get a loan for a business, they get a new job, or they get a new partner, and it's great for a little bit, isn't it? The honeymoon period. But then before long, that 95% of your behaviour takes over and the programme just goes, hey, mate, this is how we do shit around here.
Yeah, the first 7 years of your life comes back into it. Yeah,
exactly. And that,
we search for war now.
Yeah, yeah, we go to war, remember?
So this tattoo represents a very pivotal moment where you actually stopped looking for war. And it was great to be able to tell that story for you. And I heard it on Rob Moore's podcast that you were talking about the ayahuasca experience and that you'd got over it. So tell me what life's like now on the other side of no longer searching for war.
Yeah, I tell you what, but the thing was, it's like when I did go for that ayahuasca, you know, it's like I thought, you know, because I went to battle with the chimp at that point where I crashed and burned. I thought from that point, I was like, I've got nothing more to deal with. I'm fucking mended. I'm great. You know what I mean? You know, you've got to state your intentions and everything. I'm like, what do I think about?
I can relate. You know what I said?
What?
I said I'm an artist and I want to see some funky shit. I'm fine. You lot sound fucking mental with your intentions.
You lot need to get yourself sorted out. Yeah.
You all need therapy, you guys.
But that was it for me. You know, I went with a load of veterans, and it was like I was thinking, all I want to do is do that exactly. I wanted to, like, well, I'm in a good place. I want to be better. I want it to, like, open my mind to more.
But it shows you what you need and not what you want.
Exactly, and that's the thing for me. You know, and this is what I know about trauma now, is the fact that when you go through trauma, we have this innate self-preservation system that locks away the intimate trauma and pushes it away from you. And I believe that's a good thing because it helps you get over the trauma of that short term. You know what I mean? I think without that, you would be so broken that you couldn't actually carry on. But the fact of the matter is, we then tend to just forget about it and push it away. And I thought that was all done and finished with and dealt with. But it's actually not until I went and did ayahuasca, and like you say, it goes to where it's needed, not where you want it, and it went to the chimp. You know what I mean? I was like, why am I going here? And it was almost like going down that corridor with my fingernails scratching down the chalkboard. I don't want to go, I don't want to go, I don't need to go. And it took me there to that chimp. And then I realised that the work wasn't finished.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The work wasn't finished, and it was really, for me, it was like, it took me out of being the victim. And the fact of the matter is, the chimp didn't come looking for me. I was the one in the wrong. Or the chimp did what any mother will do for its young, and it was sacrifice everything to protect that young. You know what I mean? And that taught me then compassion and taking me out of being the victim and just being at peace with that whole chimp experience. So really, for you to then put that into what you put it in, for me, it was just amazing.
So I implant the energy of a epic and pivotal story under the skin. So what I wanted to do with the tattoo was implant a constant reminder of that, and that's what I love to do for my clients now, is to just tell their story, because everyone's got a great story. Even if they don't realise it, I can pull it out of them, turn it into an image, and then implant that in the skin for them to look at and draw energy from. But not only draw energy from, but to also remember a really cool experience as well. We talk about the chimp was a pivotal moment. The ayahuasca was a pivotal moment for a lot of people. The experience that they come and have with me in a great studio with great energy is that pivotal moment as well. So when they look at the tattoo in the mirror or on their arm or whatever, they are taken back, they're transported to how the room smelled that day, to how warm or cold it was, or what I was feeling like. Were they wearing a hat? It's all there. And that's what I love about tattooing, and that's this is, like I said about purpose earlier, this is mine. And it was great to tell such a massive story for you on your chest somewhere, really bold. And I definitely think for the rest of your life, you're going to remember it and draw strength from it.
I do, mate, and this is another thing. I mean, I don't look at that event as traumatic anymore. I look at it as something that, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm kind of so glad it happened, because I learned so much from that experience. And I don't look at that and now see trauma. I just see so many other things. It's an amazing thing for me. I have a close bond with that chimp now.
If I'd have tattooed a chimp on your chest 5 years ago, when you looked at it, it meant a completely different thing. You'd have been looking at it before going in the gym and going to war. Come on, let's go.
It would have reignited that search for war inside. Definitely. I'll tell you what, the night before I was thinking of pulling out.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Sabotage. You were going to throw a grenade at me?
Yeah. I was going to throw the grenade, but to be honest, I'll tell you what, it wasn't painful at all.
Well, you teach breakpoint for people, and the reason you teach that is because you understand it. It's because you feel it. You go through it yourself every day, even when about to get a tattoo. Shall I pull out of this? No, I'm not going to. I'm going to chase the discomfort. I'm going to go through it. And it just so happens that I'm actually quite gentle, and it didn't hurt that much.
No, I know.
And it's a good job you didn't.
It was an amazing experience, mate.
So we did the tattoo. For anyone watching, we actually did the tattoo months ago, but I didn't take any red ink with me, and he wanted a bit of red in it. So he's come back today to get that little touch up, and we'll have a look at it
Yeah.
and show everybody what it looks like.
And I think really it's like that red for me. It was my second ceremony with ayahuasca, you know, the second night in. And that for me is when I went back to the 10-year-old boy. And the red really signifies, because I went back to that 10-year-old boy at the circus in that experience. And then all of a sudden I transitioned from the boy into the chimp. And when I looked at me, everything was red. And I had a red readout, almost like Terminator. Threat, threat, threat. So that red to me is the becoming of the chimp. And then feeling that compassion. So that's what that red today will represent.
Right, so let's head to the studio and we'll get this tattoo touched up, finished.
Yeah, lovely.
So, welcome. This is my famous piano seat.
Did you come up with that?
Yeah, it was something we did over the lockdowns, and the only reason I turned that into a sink is because it was too heavy for me to get down the stairs by
Oh,
myself.
so that was there. That was already there.
So it was there as an ornament, and then I
Wow.
decided I needed a sink there for these new toilets that we built. And I
Yeah.
thought, well, why not just turn this piano into a sink?
What a great idea.
And I was stripping the pieces off it to
Yeah.
make it lighter so that I could throw it down the stairs. But then when I stripped it, I started seeing all this craftsmanship, and I
wow.
thought, we cannot get rid of this. Okay, let's take a look. And that's healed perfect. So
Yeah, it's
well.
great, isn't it?
I think we've got a little bit there maybe where an ingrowing hair has
Yeah.
come through. So I'm really happy with it. I will just do a little touch up on where that scar is from the hair, but
Yeah.
so for today what we want to do is add red to the eye and a little bit of red in the smoke.
Yeah.
Tell you what I'm going to do. I
Yeah.
don't want to do it like solid block red. I think it'll be a bit
It's
too...
like a mist.
I'll mist it. I'll just like
Yeah.
whip shade it through there.
Yeah, that's what you mentioned before, yeah.
And then through there as well, because
Yeah.
otherwise it'll be red heavy that side. So
Yeah.
we'll just drop a little bit in that
Yeah,
side
yeah.
as well.
Sweet.
Okay, let's get to work.